There we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Happy hour. We're back. It's bright out in Whistler, British Columbia. Hopefully I'm not too backlit and you can still see me. Today, very, very special guest. Huge guest. Big fan of his style of play and him as a person. I mean, I have never heard a bad thing about him. So I'm excited to bring, excited and ecstatic to bring on Tyson Barrie. Today, it's going to be really, really fun. We're going to have a couple cocktails, talk about his NHL career and life in general. So that will be fun. I appreciate everybody coming back day after day. Happy hour. We're doing this every single day. Please throw in guests that you guys want to see. Somebody that you think would be interesting. Somebody that would be fun to have a drink with. We got a guest on tomorrow. I'm going to save that for the very end of the show and let you know. See if you can guess in the meantime. But up until then, we're going to have a nice chat with Tyson Barrie. He's going to jump on right away. I am drinking what do I got? I got a Salento Blanco. Salento is a beautiful tequila brand. The Blanco one is extremely good. I mean, they're all amazing. I mix that with a tiny little bit of soda water, and then Red Bull's got the new summer edition. I got my hands on that. That's coming out right away. Oh, a couple good guests here. Joe Rogan, Chad Kruger, Andre Benoit. Get those three on there. I think we're going to have a killer time. Oh, here we go. Tyson Barrie's in. What are you guys drinking? We got Corona. That's a dangerous drink. Yo, Tyson Barrie, welcome to the program.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good. How are you, my friend?
Oh, good. Just tucking into a nice little margarita here.
Holy, that looks like a professional margarita. Do you have a rimmer at your house, or what are you doing there?
Yeah, my girlfriend mixed it up for me. Put her to work.
What kind of tequila you got in your margarita?
This is a Casamigos Blanco.
Oh, beautiful choice.
Oh,
I like that. Are you a tequila connoisseur?
No, doesn't. Not typically my drink, but getting into it a little more here, especially in quarantine. I'm trying new things, you know.
Yeah, you're trying new things. I like
Italian
that. I like
wine,
that.
new little tequila. I'm expanding the palate.
Oh, right on. From all the tequilas you've tried in this quarantine period, what's your favorite?
I mean, this is the one I keep going back to.
Yeah.
What have I had? I've had like a Don Julio. The Patrons are nice.
Yeah.
Again, though, I'm really just a rookie in the tequila scene, so I'm just it's tough too when you're not going to the liquor store all the time to really get your selection dialed in. But so I've got a couple bottles of this I got to work through.
Attaboy. I like that. I'm going to send you a bottle of Salento tequila. That's the tequila that I've been on, and it's absolutely amazing.
I love it.
Can I ask where you're at?
I'm in Victoria, BC.
Nice. And that's your home base for all the time, right?
Yeah. I was born here, and I always try to get back here in the summer. So feeling very grateful to be back here right now. It's feels like summer, doesn't it? Are you up in Whistler?
Yeah, I'm up in Whistler, and it's so hot. It's so nice. Was running outside, did a little stretch outside on the deck. It's amazing. What have you been doing to keep busy? Have you been training much?
Yeah, got a Peloton, shoot up a little shooting thing in the garage, a couple dumbbells, just hot yoga classes, like bar, Pilates, and on the TV, that kind of thing.
You're a bar and Pilates guy, really?
Oh, buddy, it's so hard.
Really?
It's a nightmare.
What do you gain from it, do you think?
I think it's really good for like flexibility, just like strengthening little muscles that you otherwise wouldn't really, if you're just going to the gym and hammering a normal workout or a circuit, or whatever, you're not really hitting those muscles. So, and it's as hard as you make it, right?
That's true.
They're telling you to hold these positions for 2 minutes. It seems impossible, but your legs start shaking and I don't know. I think it's good.
I would agree with you. It's that time under tension, those exercises. You're like, this is so easy, and then about 45 seconds in, you're like, I think I'm going to pass away.
Yeah,
I'm going to lose my life right now.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And then hot yoga. I got to ask you about this, man. I have never sweat so much in my life. I don't usually sweat when I'm working out that much, but in the hot yoga, I don't know what it does to me. I feel like I lose 10 pounds. Are you the same?
I'm disgusting. I sweat even with a non-hot room, I'm a sweater. So
yeah,
crank up the fireplace in my living room, close the doors, leave it for an hour. I come in, it's scorching hot.
I like that. So you're on it. You're training. You're doing all sorts of things. I like that. The normal workouts, the bar, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a lot of response when we put you out there and asked questions for Tyson Barrie on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. And a lot of people just wanted to know your story. So I thought we'd start back at the beginning. And I thought it was really interesting. Your dad was in the NHL, correct?
Yeah.
And he was also part of the franchise in Tampa Bay, correct?
Yep.
So you spent a lot of time in the locker room as a young guy, hey?
Yeah, man. It was like I didn't live in the same city till I was like 10 years old. We kind of moved every year. My dad was like a journeyman, kind of up and down between the minors. He played like 200 NHL games, and I just loved going to the rink with them, being in the room. Like, boys always treated me good, and
yeah.
So that kind of made me like I had an into the game, and just kind of made me want it like that much more once I got settled in Victoria. And everyone in Canada, hockey's kind of it's what you do. So,
but you traveled around a lot before you were like in Canada,
yeah.
and I feel like those young memories, like for me, like the first couple times I went snowboarding, it was like super out of there for Saskatchewan, and those just like resonated. Those are burned on me. Are there any memories that you have, like being in the locker room in Tampa Bay or something like that?
Yeah, so I was a little older when he was involved with Tampa, so it was
okay.
He was actually a part of it when like I was drafted. So.
Okay. I thought you were a little bit younger for some reason. I'm sorry about that.
No, so I was 17. He actually called me from the draft floor, and he's like, "Hey, like, Tyson, I know you told me not to take you, but like, you're the next guy on our list." And I was like,
"Are you serious?"
Yeah. And I was like, "Can you please not take me?" I'm like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "I will never live that down." I'm like, "Please don't." So we didn't. And then I went like a couple picks later to Colorado.
And you were just like, you just didn't want to be picked by your dad, or what?
Oh yeah, I was like, I knew I was good, but like I had the NHL on such a pedestal. I didn't want to make it, because my dad was involved in ownership or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. You didn't want to have asterisks there.
Yeah, no, I'd worked hard to get there myself, and I figured, I maybe would have went a little higher if he took me, but I'm looking back, I'm glad everything kind of went the way it did.
For sure. You played on an amazing team in Colorado and still play on an amazing team in Toronto. So I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah. But back to what you were saying, I can remember skating when I was like very little in Germany. My dad played for like the Frankfurt Lions in the Dell. And I remember like they'd be practicing and they had the Zamboni had like its own little ice surface.
Yeah.
So I'd go and skate on that all the time where the whole team would be practicing. And that's kind of one thing. Like I was like 5 or 6 or 7 years old or something.
You never forget that for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah,
like that's what really hones in.
I can draw you a picture of like the little concession in the rink and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So you did your junior in with the Kelowna Rockets, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean that must have been pretty rad because Kelowna is such a fun little city. Like I think it's really really underestimated. It flies a little bit under the radar, but you'd have a ton of fun there, and especially playing junior hockey. I can only imagine you have some stories for that.
It's an incredible place to play. And the summer's population like triples. Everyone's out on the boats, like total lake country. It's amazing. But did
you stay over the summer?
I never did because so many guys do end up buying places there and living there. But for me, like I'm from Victoria. I love being on the island. It's like I can't leave. I love coming back here. There's something about the ocean and stuff. But I still go back Kelowna, visit every summer. Go back, see my old billets, and it's a good spot.
Right on. And then obviously going on to the NHL from there. And we could talk about your World Juniors because, I mean, as a Canadian kid, you understand the magnitude of that. And I feel like for everybody, I had a couple friends play on the team when I was like kind of growing up and just they're like, it's crazy. Like the amount of pressure that you feel from Canada is just like ridiculous. Did you notice that as well?
Oh, buddy, we had the worst, like it was the best. It was in Buffalo. So it was like home crowd.
Yeah.
Unreal. And it is like, I never, like the World Juniors, like you watch it and you're like, I never thought I would play.
Yeah.
And then I made the team and I was like so ecstatic. I was like the 7th D man, kind of worked my way up the lineup. And then it was the most, to this day, we lost the Memorial Cup final and that was like tough. That was like heartbreaking. But the way that we lost the World Juniors, it was 2009 in Buffalo.
Yeah.
We were up 3-0 against.
I know. I thanks for telling this story because these are always so hard to talk about this kind of stuff. But I really appreciate it.
They were calling the Canadian collapse or whatever they called it. It was like I literally remember like we thought we had it like 3-0 going in the third period. Bang bang bang. We didn't even know who any of these guys were either. They had like Tarasenko, Panarin, Kuznet. Like they had
actually the filthiest team ever. Like Russia always has somebody, but those are like psychotic hockey players that you've never heard of or seen before, you know?
No, it was crazy. Like, and I didn't know who any of them were, right? And now looking back, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, but yeah, that was
Story checks out, boys.
Yeah, went to Jack Astor's with like all the families after the game, and like we were all shocked. I just remember like I just started crying. I was like a 19-year-old. I just broke down. I was like just devastated. So, I mean,
and that's the thing. Like there's like the amount of pressure that is on you guys at that age. You're just like, I don't know. You're 18, 19. You can like you only have so many tools of handling and being capable with that amount of pressure. And then like sometimes it doesn't go your way. Like that shit happens. And it's gnarly. I bet you that turned a corner for you a little bit though. And when you come into the NHL, going through something of that magnitude, you realize like.
If you can take it on the chin like that, like you'll be set up to handle a lot. So obviously would have loved to have walked away with a Memorial Cup and a gold medal, but it's not what they had in the cards for me. Maybe there's something bigger,
Yeah, way she goes. Now I want to ask you this question. I think it's really interesting talking to people who play in the NHL, and you've solidified yourself as like, a top 4 D man in the NHL. Before that, for a young defenseman, you spend a lot of, like most guys spend a lot of time going AHL, NHL, AHL, NHL. When did it click for you where you're like, was it just amount of time? Did you just get older? Was there a confidence thing? Is there anything that you changed where you're like, okay, I'm here now,
Yeah.
I'm not going back down.
Yeah, no, I think it was for sure. Like for me, like I came to camp, I had a really good camp, and I was 20 years old, like young. So I went down to the minors. I was kind of expecting it. And then I started like playing, like I was playing in the AHL and I'd never played there before. And I was kind of lighting it up and playing really well. And I was like, fuck, like maybe I can play in the NHL. Cause at that point I'd still had it on such a pedestal. Like I never really,
you don't know.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that those guys were the best. Like I didn't think I'd be able to play with them. And then that was cool. Like my first, laying in a hotel room in Houston, and I got called up for the first time. And that was super sweet. That was like a very surreal feeling. Like I was going to play my first NHL game.
Do you remember who against who?
Yeah, it was Chicago.
Oh,
I was terrified, man. I flew into Denver, like had a practice, morning skate, and then we played. And I was so nervous. And like, I tell like younger guys now when they play, like, oh yeah, get your first shift in, like, it's just another game, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's total bullshit. I was, like, shaking the whole game. I could barely, like, I was, like, so nervous. And then, like...
Stick handle? Yeah.
Yeah, well, after a few games, you settle in. But it definitely, for me at least, like, I didn't settle in my first game. I was just terrified.
Who was one of the guys in the room that, kind of, like, lent your hand, like, lent a word to you? It was, like, welcomed you a little bit on your very first game? Yeah. If you can remember.
Shane O'Brien. He was there. He was my D partner for a little bit, and he's like, I don't know if you know Obi at all, but
he's one of the funniest people on earth.
Yeah, so he just was like, he was great. He'd just joke around and make everything light, and he'd just be like, fuck Bears, you're not a bad player, kid? I'm like, oh, thanks. So it was like
cracking jokes and like making you welcome and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was really good. There was a ton of guys, and we had a young team like Landeskog, Dutchy. We had a young squad, so all the guys were pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, you just solidified yourself in that Avs lineup, and you guys had some success in the playoffs. Oh, is that Ralphie?
No, it's Ralph. Yeah. He's patrolling the house. Nothing gets by him.
Is he losing it? He's like, why the fuck are you home all the time? Like,
he's gonna have some serious separation anxiety when this whole thing's over. Like, he's a little drone. He just follows me around within 3 feet all the time.
Oh, I like that. That's fun. At least you got somebody, you and your girlfriend, or is it what you guys married?
Girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, girlfriend. Okay, pardon me. I didn't want to overstep there.
No.
Oh,
thank you. What?
For you to do a shot.
Oh, yeah. I guess there was a bunch of comments. We got to take a shot, so.
All right. Let me go get a shot.
You need a refill.
I need a refill, buddy.
Yeah. No, he does. Greg does. Ralph, say what's up.
There he is.
Yo.
I saw a little disaster in the kitchen the other day. On Instagram.
Oh yeah, no, he's ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
How old is he? Good days and bad days. What's that?
How old is he?
He's a year and a half.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So he's just still like a little bit of a puppy then.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, he's got something in his fur. The hell is that? Oh yeah, no, he's a puppy. He's still learning.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment for Ralphie.
Attaboy. Did you have that? So where did you get him?
Actually, a funny story. I rescued him from the Gretzky family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Please share.
I always say I rescued him, but they got 2 dogs and then decided it was a bit much, so they only wanted 1. And so Trevor, Wayne's son, is one of my best buddies. So he was coming out to visit, and he's like, "Yo, I got this dog I got to like get rid of, or find a family for."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, bring him with you, or bring him with you. Like, we might hang on to him." And then he took him out, and once we met Ralphie, it was over.
Yeah. Was it like love at first sight? You're like, I'm never gonna let
he
go
was
of this
so
dog.
cute. It was insane. So.
That's rad. You spent lots of time in Toronto then, that dog?
Yep. Yeah. He was in the condo with us all year, and then
Sick.
this whole thing went down, so we came back, and
Yeah.
we've just been taking him down to the beach and got a backyard. So he's in heaven right now.
Hell yeah. Well, that a few more hockey questions because everybody really wants to know.
Yeah.
Going from like spending your entire career with the Avs and then going to Toronto. I mean, Denver's a huge hockey city. Like I know, like I've been to a game and like people are into it and like there's a good culture and stuff, but I just don't think like nothing can ever rival Toronto or Montreal. And like, did you see that when you got there? Like you always knew it was going to be like that, but like I there's got to be something where you're like, oh, I didn't really see that coming or something like that.
Oh yeah, totally. It's just, I mean, Denver's an incredible place to play. It's a beautiful place to live. It was home to me for 10 years, and I'll always go back and try and keep a place there and stuff. But coming to Toronto, it was, I mean, it's everything they kind of say, and then more. And it's from the attention the team gets to the way the Leafs treat the players and everything. It's all bang on. So it was. I mean, it still is. We're still trying to fight for a season here. So
Yeah.
It was a big adjustment though. I think it was harder than I'd anticipated to be traded. I don't know if I fully gave credit to guys who were moving around and getting on.
Well, you think you think of the guys that play on like 5 or 6 teams throughout their career. I mean, like a move in general is crazy, and then to like move to a new city, meet a whole new group of guys, like do all that kind of stuff. How was the group of guys when you walked in the locker room?
Oh, dude, unreal. The guys in Colorado are like some of my best friends for life. And then I was nervous. I knew Marnes. I knew JT, Morgan Riley, because he's from Van. Kerfoot was coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like a bit nervous, and I came in and it was like, it's such a good crew. Unreal.
Yeah.
Like the guys are, it's a young group. Guys like to have fun, and it'd be a good place to play for a long time.
Yeah. I like to hear that.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, but you can say what you want.
The Leafs are in good hands.
Yeah. I got to ask you this. You're super tight with the Lumineers, especially the lead singer. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Wesley Schultz.
Wesley. How did that relationship come about?
So they actually live like, oddly enough, they live like 5-10 minutes down the road from me in Denver. So they're from Jersey, and then they moved to Denver and kind of started there. And my buddy Trevor Gretzky, I was telling you about, he went and met them after a show in Edmonton like years ago. And they were talking, having some beers, and he's like, where do you live? He's like, Denver. And he's like, one of my best friends lives down there. Like, you guys should link up. And then he just put us in like a little group chat, and they opened for Tom Petty in Vancouver.
Well, you got that show.
Yeah, you were there too?
Yeah, that was one of the most incredible.
Unreal.
That was Tom Petty's second last show.
I know. So Wes did his set, and I was texting with him, and he's like, where are you guys sitting? I told him we were like 8 rows back, like in the middle, like awesome seats. So he's like, oh yeah. So he came and we just drank wine, and he watched Tom's set with us, and then we got back to Denver and found out we lived like 10 minutes away, and just kind of.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's up, neighbor?
Yeah. He's my drinking buddy. He's the best. He's such him and his wife are like some of the most genuine people. So.
That's rad. So I was texting with Marnes before this, and I was like, hey, do you have anything you should, any stories, anything? And he was like pretty reserved, but he was like, asked him about the one time in Pittsburgh when we all got separated going to this restaurant, and they were all like sitting down, and then you were like trying to, yeah. I didn't really understand the story via text message, but I think that you could clarify this for me.
Yeah, no. So in Pittsburgh, like, there's a lot of like they call them seekers or like super fans, guys who are looking for autographs, and so our dinner crew was like Matthews, Marner, Spets, like people who these guys want their autograph bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. There's probably like anywhere between 30 and 50 people following us to this restaurant that I've made a reservation at.
Okay.
But I'm the only one who knows where it is.
Okay.
So they're trying to like walk, and they're just getting harassed I've stopped and signed like, 2 or 3 things, but nobody's really interested in me. They all want like Matthews, Martin, these guys. So they go
No,
ahead.
not true. Not true.
No,
They want to. They want
I know.
to. They want to bury.
They obviously don't know the game. So they're ahead. They're ahead of me like, I don't know, call it 50 feet. But they don't know where the restaurant is. And I'm in the restaurants to the left, and they're just keep walking because they're getting pestered so bad. And I'm like trying to tell them, like, I'm like yelling. I'm like, Marner. I'm like, Marge. I'm like, Tony. Like, and nobody's reacting because they all think I'm just a super fan screaming at them. So I'm like, I just end up, I go into the restaurant and I'm standing there by myself for like 5 minutes, and they're all like walking around downtown Pittsburgh, like no idea where they're going. So then finally Martin's FaceTimes. He's like, yo, where are you? I'm like, I'm at the restaurant. He's like, where'd you go? I'm like, I was screaming at you, but you thought I was a soupy. So he just kept going.
That'd be, who has the worst secrets in all of hockey?
Like road cities?
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh's got a lot. The old Islanders arena, because we always stayed at that Marriott across the street. So it's like, you guys would just walk to the games. It's just a gauntlet. They'd just be like, that was bad. And then, I don't know. I feel like those two were the worst, or depends how you, unless you love signing autographs for guys, it's the best. So
if you have that much time. I won't take too much more of your time. I just got this little list, and I think you've spent enough time, and you know enough guys in the Leafs now that we could do it with this team. It'd be good to do it with the Avs as well. But it's just a couple quick round fire questions here, and you just got to pick a name, and you can maybe explain it. So I'm going to start with this one. Biggest prankster on the team for the Leafs right now.
Biggest prankster? Probably Marnes. I don't know if he's really a prankster, but he's kind of just he's a little shit. So he's always up.
Okay, that works too. That works too. Who has the best taste of music on the team? You can pick yourself too.
No, yeah, I mean, I love music. I've always loved it. Actually, Matthews, he's like loves rap music and stuff, but he's got like an eclectic taste. He likes good tunes. Justin Hall.
Okay.
Holler's got really good taste in music yet.
Who's got the worst taste in music on the team?
Let me think. I don't know. Probably like Himes, or I don't even know. Like Himes, I don't even know if he listens to music. Like
he's one of those guys that's just I don't do music. Like, what do you mean you don't do music? Who's the funniest? This is different than prankster. Like, who's the guy that you're like, that guy's funny? Justin
Holler's funny. He's got a really good sense of humor.
Okay. Who's got the weirdest superstitions on the team?
Probably Nylander. Like, he's always like, he like gets undressed and like ices his legs in between periods and stuff. Like ice bags on his knees. I'm like, what do you mean?
You playing for the 98 Islanders?
And again, like JT's got his things he does. Like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some I don't even know about. I don't really have any superstitions. I'm pretty easygoing. What's
the weirdest one you've ever heard of? Like, nobody on your team, you just like, I've heard this, like this guy does this, and you're like, what the?
Ryan O'Reilly used to get, I mean, that's not even, it's kind of hard on the spot to think. I'm sure after we hang up, I'll text you with but like a Ryan O'Reilly used to get fully undressed, like down to it, like he would be naked, walk through, and then go into the cold tub in between periods. And then I like, it takes me like 20 minutes to get dressed. So
that's just exhausting.
It's exhausting. Nylander, man, he goes out, like he'll start getting dressed. Like if we're on the ice for warm up at 16 minutes, he starts putting gear on at 18. We're all like standing there, like giving each other like fist bumps, like, hey, let's go. And he's like,
helmets on and everything.
It stresses me out. I hate it.
Who's the bougiest on the team?
Bougiest? Oh,
yeah, like who's
Austin and Willie. Like they both.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Lot
this
of
is
swag,
funny. A lot of
swag.
Expensive shoes. Who tries the hardest in practice? Everybody tries hard in practice, and you're all working. But there's always that one guy. You're like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah, I think probably JT Tavares. He's pretty laser focused all the time. Like if he's going on the ice, he's not dicking around. It's
110%.
Yeah.
Who is the best chirps? When you're like in it, and you like somebody makes you laugh, they're always just like chirping like that. Who's the best on your team, and then who's the best in the league? Would you think?
On our team, I mean, I like to chirp guys. That's like, I absolutely enjoy it.
Pick yourself. Pick yourself. If you make yourself laugh, do it.
I enjoy abusing people, and there's some easy targets. So, Around the league, like, I don't know, Doughty always makes me laugh.
I feel like that'd be a funny one.
Marshy's such an idiot. Like, I think he's hilarious. Like, I never get into it with him because I just stay away from it. But he's entertaining. Those guys are entertaining.
One thing that I think is super entertaining about your Instagram is you're not doing it so much anymore, but I feel like you'd always post like if you got rocked sometimes you just post it on Instagram and be like,
I know.
I would laugh so goddamn hard at that.
I gotta put my head down more. Get some more content out there.
It's rad. It's really funny, but I mean, it speaks to the kind of person you are because everybody's like, oh yeah, like it wasn't that bad, but you're funny and you're personable and you're a rad dude. So I really appreciate you doing that and stepping outside because a lot of hockey players don't do that.
Yeah, I think Instagram's like especially in the hockey world, it's like a weird one because we're like kind of, it's just the culture of it where you're not a self-promoter, it just kind of goes against the culture of hockey. So
yeah,
I think there's guys who are really good at it, and me, I'm trying to get more active. Like I'll go a year without posting a picture, and I'm consciously making an effort. But I think one of the biggest things is to be able to laugh at yourself. Like I've been like Bufflin blew me. I think it's funny. Like it's part of it. So if you can laugh at yourself, then why not let everyone else laugh with you?
That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. That's such a refreshing look at it, and I know me and all the fans are excited for that. I gotta ask you this because I heard a rumor. How many times have you been somebody's best man at a wedding?
Oh, I've emceed or been the best man. I think, well, twice the best man last summer. Emceed Calvin Pickard's wedding the summer before, and I guess we're kind of getting to that age where everyone's kind of dropping a knee here. But I think I might be in one. The next few years there'll be a couple.
Okay, good. I heard a rumor. Somebody was like, "Oh yeah, he's been the best man at like 7 weddings."
No.
How? That's impossible.
I feel like it could end that way, but we're just getting going here, and I'm 28 now, so everyone's kind of we're getting to that age where everyone's going down.
Yeah, I see. Well, Tyson, I just want to say thank you so much, man. If there's anything else you want to say, shout outs or anything like that, go for it. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Oh, buddy, we're chilling. I still got half a drink left.
All right.
Yeah, we could. Did you get another drink?
I did, but I drank it already. I'm gonna get one more, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Okay. I ran out of Salento because it's an American brand. It's hard to get stuff across the border right now. So I got a Casadores now. That's another good one if you ever go to the liquor store. Are you making another one?
You have to. I got one, and then I also have. I have a shot of tequila that I was given that I guess.
Okay, I have a shot. I have a shot too. Let's do this shot. I got actually a few more questions for you if you have time.
I literally have nothing but time.
Okay.
No, I'm all good.
Perfect. All right, shot.
Cheers, buddies. Yeah, cheers,
buddy. Thanks again.
Oh, not a problem. Cheers to keeping quarantine loose and as fun as we can. So,
amen.
Appreciate you having me on here.
Thanks, Tice. Thanks for coming. All right. Do you ever watch the show Hot Wings? It's on YouTube. It's like they have like all these guests on, and this guy interviews them, and they have this like list of the hottest hot sauces ever, and you like eat a hot wing, and then the guy asks you a question, like some crazy question. You have to like try and like handle that and do that. We should do that with tequila shots. I think that's a good show idea. So if somebody can write that as a note down, that'd be great.
I'm not in the hot sauce one, but I'll do the tequila tasting with you.
Perfect. I love it. I wanted to ask you were on Spit and Chicklets, like, I think that was like in 2018 or 17. So it was a couple years back. They've obviously like blown up and grown more famous. And you've probably known Biz for a while because you're both like West Coast boys. This is a really funny question that I was asked. Whitney or Biz? Who's funnier? Who do you like listening to more?
See, for me, I don't know Whit that well. Like at all. I mean, I think I met him once, and then obviously we did the show. And I know Biz very well for a lot of years, so I think I gotta go with Whit. I think I know him too well.
You're too close to the case.
Yeah, I'm too close. No, Whit's hilarious. He's seems like one of a kind. Everyone loves him, and I mean, me and Biz are tight, and I love him too. I think it's incredible what they've done there, and Biz is a lot smarter than he leads on. So it's a good thing they've done. It gives fans like an inside look at kind of, some of the things that we go through, and I think it's great for the game.
I agree so much because there just never was this like exactly what you talk about how everybody like viewed Instagram and now it's changing a little bit, but there was never that media that was like, hey, let's tell a story as opposed to let's just talk about what we're seeing on the ice. So I think I enjoy it and I think there should be more of that content.
Yeah, and it makes 100% agree. When you're being interviewed or not, you don't even feel like you're being interviewed on there, which is, I think, what was part of the hesitation when they were first rolling it out. Guys were like, oh, I don't want to go on and then like, say something stupid or do this or do that. But
yeah.
I mean, you have to keep in mind that people are going to hear it, but they're so good. If you say anything that's offside or whatever, they'll take it out. But I think it's great. And you're getting like real conversations they're funny. They're they're relevant. I think it's great.
Yeah. And the thing is too, people are human. Like everybody doesn't think that athletes are human beings, right? Like you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to do stuff. Like you can't. Nobody's perfect. You're not robots.
Yeah. Everyone puts on one sock at a time. We're all humans, and you might have you might have an opinion of what you think someone is, and then it's nice to get another look and be like, whoa, that's totally not who I thought they were,
Exactly. I got to ask you this. In your career, you've been through a couple different coaching changes. What's the atmosphere in the room after that? Because, I mean, you could be like, oh, it's different. We're excited to work, new systems, blah, 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 blah. But, like, it's got to be so – like the first few days have to be so fucked up.
Oh, man, it's crazy. And especially you're in Leafland, right? So you're the pressure's on you, and you go through a coaching change, and then I think we were a group that knew we were underachieving and we had a lot more to give. So it was frustrating for us. And then to have that happen, it was such an eye opener, and we all just I think we reacted very, very well. And I think we came out and went on a bit of a run but it definitely is weird. There's a lot of emotions you go through, and then it's almost like a restart. You go to the rink the next day and your coach is gone. It's like new guy.
Team.
The new guy's like, hey,
yeah. I don't want to get anybody mad or anything. I don't know.
It's hard on him too. He's trying to feel his way and get to know everyone's game. So, it's definitely weird, but I mean, Sheldon's he's a great person, and he's like insanely intelligent hockey guy. So I got a lot of respect for him. And I think, if we ever get this thing fired back up, there'll be nobody more prepared than him.
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Hey, is it true when you went to Toronto and Nazem went to Denver, you guys lived in each other's houses?
Yeah. So we switched spots. I got traded. I came out like the week later to Toronto just to try to find somewhere to live to, make everything as easy as possible. And then I played with Nas at like the Subway Series or something, and we had a bunch of Bosey's a mutual friend, obviously, and
what a guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Hall of Famer, love him.
Oh yeah.
So we just we connected, and then I went over to his house like I think 2 days after they had their first newborn child. So
yeah,
I walk up and he's got this newborn, and I'm like, oh dude, like I don't want to like intrude, but he was really good, and we just kind of chatted for like an hour, and I asked him questions about Toronto, he asked me questions about Colorado, and ended up working. And then I was at his place, and I was like, dude, this place is sick. Like, I love it. Like, if you're willing to rent it, I'd love to take it. And he's like, no problem. Like, and I was like, my place. He's like, I'll go check it out. And then he liked it. So we just flip-flopped.
That's so random. That's so sick. You probably never hear about that.
No, it makes it so easy. Like you just left all the furniture, pots, pans, everything. So you just bring your clothes. It was great.
I love it. Why 94?
Yeah. So I was trying to like figure out. Oh, I got my quarantine.
Oh, dude, you got the quarantine cut. I look like a psychopath.
Maybe we'll get a 2-for-1 when this is all done.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. So I was like, I'd worn 4 my whole life. I loved, like, Rob Blake was my favorite D-man. He wore 4. I was like, that was my guy. He played for the Avs.
Yeah.
And then 4 was retired in Toronto, obviously. So I was looking at numbers, and I wore 22 at World Juniors, and I was like, that's kind of boring. Like, I didn't love it. And then my dad wore number 9, and I wore number 4. So I was like, oh, maybe 49, but it just didn't really, like, didn't hit me. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'm like, what about 94? And it's so outrageous. And I was like, I love it. I'm like, let's go 94.
I like it too. I really like it. There's some like your dad, there's some behind it, combining them. I like 94 a lot better than 49.
Yeah, there's just something. 49 didn't do it for me. 94 sends a message a little bit.
Absolutely,
You're coming in
up there.
hot.
You're close to 100 right there.
Yeah.
I got to ask you this too. This is really, really interesting because a lot of people don't talk about this. During like the break, like if you don't go to the All-Star game, a lot of guys like to go on trips. It's like it's a reset because you're a professional athlete and life's great and stuff like that, but you're working hard every single day and there's tons of pressure. So when you do get a little bit of break, it's nice to just, leave town, chill out for a few days, and, collect yourself and come back. Where is your favorite place you've ever gone to in the break?
We went to the Bahamas this year. That was a nice time. We, Martins came down, Justin Hall, Jamie Benn was down there. We had like a good, I think it's more like, you can go find a beach anywhere, right? But like, it's the crew that you're with. I think this year we had a really good crew. It was a lot of fun. But that year I met you up in Aspen, that was fun. That
was a good one.
Like, I'd never been to Aspen before, even though I'd played there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Shenner saying Hawaii. Yeah, no. Yeah, we got hurricane conditions in Hawaii 2 years ago. We sat in the hot tub for like 3 days. It wasn't great. But that dude, Aspen was unbelievable. Like that, the whole X Games experience, and I know you helped us out. And
no. It was. I was thinking about that because like that's a fun little trip, but like you guys have a break and you're like, hey, let's get the boys go wherever. But that's so sick.
Oh, dude, Aspen was incredible. Like that, the whole X Games vibe up there was so cool. I would love to go back. I tell like anybody who's asked me like, oh, where should I go? Like, I'm like, buddy, go to Aspen. If you can get to Aspen for the X Games, it's a no-brainer. Yeah,
it's really, really fun. And it's crazy this year. They're coming back with like, they've always had like a pretty big music presence, but this year it's going to be like Psycho, blow it out of the water festival style. Yeah, which will be really sick because they just wanted more of a festival as opposed to like as many events. So it'll be fun. If you're in town, come through. And if you're not, fly in.
Yeah.
It'll be great. But hey, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Enjoy Whistler. Enjoy the weather we're getting right now because this is.
I will.
It's awesome.
Thanks, brother. Keep in touch.
Talk to you.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow on Happy Hour. We also have Ryan Lear, yoga enthusiast, yoga global ambassador for Lululemon. It's going to be a blast. So he's going to be on the show tomorrow. Can't wait for that. Tune in. We'll see you guys soon. And thanks to Tyson Barrie. The guy is an absolute beauty. One of my favorite people. Cheers.